Good evening and welcome to the least professional show on YouTube. This is Toxic Masculinity, and this is my co-host, Jason. How you doing, Jason?
Good. Much better. Doing much better.
Yeah, because you were sick for quite a long time, actually.
I was. I mean, I still have like a lingering cough, but I'm feeling much better. More energy.
That's great. Being sick sucks.
It does.
I feel like I might get sick soon.
Oh, that's
the girl that I'm dating is sick, and I think I'm gonna get sick. So, all right. Yeah, a lot of news, a lot of crazy news, actually, and some funny news, some fun news, but mostly terrible. Mostly terrible. But it will be fun to go through anyway on this episode of Toxic Masculinity. Is there any personal news that you'd like to share with the group, Jason?
There's all this news about the world. It's going to crash. The economy is going to crash here in the United States as well.
Spoiler alert! What the hell, dude?
Well, it's funny because the last week I bought a new car, and I'm like, Murphy's Law, great. Now when the economy is going to crash, perfect timing.
I would also like to say that he's looking dashingly handsome with his haircut and his
thank you.
His beard shaved off. Any compliments in the chat would be welcomed.
I'm trying to look more like Mr. Reagan.
Yeah, I think that deserves $2, don't you, Jason?
Mm-hmm.
All right,
$5.
$5. Ooh, somebody's a little greedy. All right. So let's have a look here. Let's get into the news straight away because we got a lot to get through, and I feel like it's all kind of important. Even the funny stuff I think is important. So let's just get through to the first story. Kamala Harris, who's going to be her VP? I think we all know the answer to this, but let's go ahead and run through it. Okay. Kamala Harris ready to unveil her choice of running mate. Vice President Kamala Harris will unveil her choice of running mate Tuesday when the 2024 Democrat presidential candidate and her newly minted political partner will hold their first joint rally in Philadelphia. Ooh, sexy. The two are scheduled to barnstorm cities in 7 swing states in 4 days, Politico reports. In addition to Philadelphia, they'll hit western Wisconsin, Detroit, Raleigh, Savannah, Phoenix, and Las Vegas. Okay, so you know what? Okay, so I guess these are their potential picks. Oh, hold on. Oh, look at this. Oh, this is interesting. So this chick prematurely leaked Kamala's choice of running mate? What? Philadelphia mayor, I should switch this if I'm going to go ahead and switch this out. I hadn't heard this. This just jumped out at me. This is all spur of the moment, folks. Philadelphia Mayor Sherelle Parker has reportedly revealed Vice President Kamala Harris's pick for running mate in 2024, the presidential election, through social media on Friday. Okay, whatever. I read that wrong, but I'm not going to go through it again. In a post on X, Parker wrote that she was proud to be back with so many leaders who were supporting Harris for president and Governor Josh Shapiro for VP. Oh, that's funny. That is too funny. Let's go ahead and watch this.
Philadelphia, we got work to do. We're ready to rumble, y'all.
Y'all?
I'm Mayor Sherelle Parker, here with leaders from across our region.
Kamala Harris is on the road to victory.
And the road goes through Pennsylvania.
And in Pennsylvania, we're united behind her. The woman that's tough and can lead.
It's a pretty slick ad. They're pretty good at this, the Democrats. They've always been pretty good at this kind of media crap.
We ready to fight for it.
She is the right person at the right time for this job. It's going to do right by labor. It's going to do right by working people.
And I can't think of a better partner than our Governor Josh Shapiro.
Now, okay, so it's... But the thing is, everybody basically thinks that he's going to be the vice president anyway.
That's a huge.
So this isn't like a huge shock. It is a huge mistake, but I don't think it's a huge shock because everybody kind of knew that this guy was the guy. But he's terrible. We covered this last week.
Mm-hmm.
We played some of his crap, him making fun of Trump. Trump has got this funny look. He walks weird, doesn't he? He just walks weird. He walks weird.
Yeah.
And then he goes and he hugs the flag. It's kind of weird, isn't it? He just hugs the flag. Why would he do that? What a dickhead. This guy is just so slimy.
I don't know what they're thinking, really. Like, I just find it very weird that they're picking this guy, especially,
that is weird.
The fact that he's white and Jewish, like, they're gonna lose so much of a part of their base.
I know that everybody that's out there protesting like the Israeli-Palestine conflict on the left, they now, like, I would say they're now straight up anti-Semitic.
Yep.
She's already got a Jewish husband. She's bringing in this just Jewish running mate. Like, strategically, it doesn't make any sense. You have Jew-hating, anti-Semitic, pro-Palestinian, like a huge faction in your party.
Unless they want to win back, like, the rich, elite Jewish people, like, because I think they were losing them from all this. So I don't know if that's the tactic they're going by.
In my experience, there is a segment of the Jewish population in America that's not really Jewish. They're sort of culturally Jewish.
Yep.
But they're atheists, and they don't care really at all about the Jewish faith. They don't care at all about Israel, and in fact, a lot of them support Palestine. So that contingent, I don't think they have to win them back because they're always going to vote Democrat. They're I don't know. I tend to find that these are like radical atheists, these like hardcore, almost like libertarian atheists but they're like left-leaning libertarian. They're some of like the nastiest people, Jewish or otherwise, right? We're talking about the Jewish faction now, but they're just nasty people. They're always going to vote Democrat because, Democrats are, I would say, they're anti-Christian, they're anti-religion, and they like that. They appreciate that. The only religion the left likes is Islam, which is so weird. I mean, talk about weird. That word keeps popping up, but it never pops up really. It should. That's the crazy thing about the left. They're like, oh, let's slap this weird label on Trump and JD Vance.
It's stupid.
When like everything they do is like friggin' weird. I guess they were expecting us to call them that or something. I don't really know.
I think they expect. Yeah, I think they expect, like, with the media lackeys behind them, I think they expected that people would actually fall for that, but that doesn't work anymore. Since X came into the picture, so it's just backfiring on them.
X does, like, not just X, but the internet generally, I think, makes it more difficult for them to lie to people. But X in particular is critical, and Elon Musk facilitated that. Thank you again, Elon, for saving free speech in America.
Yes, but to go back,
Sorry.
One more thing. I just think I just think they're trying to equalize it by getting him, since he is he is white, and I think they want to equalize that whole radical thing that Kamala's got going on her end. So even though he is a radical himself, but I don't know if you understand.
Well, they're saying that he's a little bit more. They're saying that he's a little bit more moderate, which is funny. He's for like school vouchers and stuff, and I'm like, because school vouchers is a completely rational, logical, sensible thing. Anybody who's not for school vouchers, they're just irrational. Because the weird thing about the school voucher thing is it like legitimately helps the poorest Americans. And what is the left always going on about? Like, black people are disproportionately poor. They're disproportionately poor. They always say that. Okay. So if you want to help out the disproportionately poor black folks in America, you should be for school vouchers. It doesn't make any sense not to be. It's just dumb. But anyway, let's just jump over to this question. Is Kamala Harris black? I think that's we were supposed to cover that last week.
I had a friend. I had a friend. He's like, guys, Jason, did you talk about if Kamala Harris is black or not? I'm like, I think we did. He's like, oh, I don't know, because I kind of didn't get to watch it fully. So Did
we
we?
like titled
We never talked
that,
about it.
but
Yeah.
I don't remember if we actually got into that or not, but that was what we were supposed to. That was like the goal. But it's a kind of a funny thing, right? This idea, like, because Kamala Harris, and I'm on the Daily Show. I don't know if you saw this, but Jon Stewart took the piss out of me a little bit. Which, by the way, I think the Newsmax clip that he took, I was making the joke that the left doesn't seem to know whether or not Kamala Harris is black or Indian. Like, they don't know how to brand her. They don't know how to promote her. I think I was making a joke about that. But at one point I said, is she black? Is she Indian? Nobody knows, right? Like, making fun of the left, right? And they clip that out. And then Jon Stewart starts making fun of me. He's like, oh, it's not possible to be biracial. Like these conservatives, they don't even know that biracial is a thing. What's that? You can be more than one race. I don't understand, right? He starts doing this whole thing.
Yeah,
and it's pretty funny.
That's crazy. You didn't tell me this.
Yeah.
That's almost an Elon moment with the Elon.
Yeah,
moment.
it's pretty big. It was pretty big. It's pretty big. And actually, Sebastian Gorka is in the same set of clips. But actually, what he says got a laugh, and I was just ruthlessly mocked.
Yeah.
Well, of course, jealous of Gorka for that. But
your parody that you did is, of course, they're gonna get you now.
They're gonna come after me. Yeah, but so I did. So I got on Daily Show, and so my parents and my brothers and my sister, they're all like, oh, Chris, you really made it now. you're being roasted on friggin', and I was like, man, I don't think I've ever gotten so many compliments for getting mocked ruthlessly before in my life. It's pretty funny. But anyway, I think it's a legitimate question, right? Like, who is Kamala Harris? Because to be black isn't necessarily just like a skin tone, genetic thing, right? At least not according to a lot of black people, right? To be like, there's a lot of black people that go, oh, you're not really black. You're like an Uncle Tom, or you're too white, or you're Oreo. They call them Oreos. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, Clarence Thomas is blacker than black, and he's not black, so.
Right. Oreo, they say Oreo because you're like black on the outside but white on the inside. Have you ever heard this?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is like a thing.
Yes.
It's like a thing. There's a lot of different names that they'll call black people that they don't like, or they don't think are black enough, or whatever it might be. This is a big problem in America. I mean, to me, like, it's kind of like a nasty, vicious thing, but it's like a real thing. And yeah, go on.
You know which one I hate? I hate the Uncle Tom one, because if you really think about it, like the black conservative Republicans, it's a complete opposite, because Uncle Toms are actually the black Democrats, because
totally.
Like conservative Republican blacks are free thinkers. They think for themselves. They're not chained. And that's what
improve the quality of life of every American. And what is that going to do? That's going to improve the lives of black Americans. What do the Democrats do for black Americans? Lip service, BS. They pretend to help them, but they don't actually do anything.
Which is your perfect Uncle Tom.
Exactly. But the crazy thing about Kamala Harris is, so like, when I'm talking about like the Oreo, when I'm talking about like the black person who is not culturally black, who is rejected by black culture, these people are black, like you say, like Clarence Thomas or somebody, right? They grow up black, they study, they speak proper English, they seem to be culturally white, or culturally just standard American. And their, black friends and relatives may reject them because they're not black enough, right? Then Kamala Harris comes out here. Her mother is full Indian, like East Indian from India. She's basically raised in this culture. There's pictures of her celebrating Christmas and stuff, but she's raised, she's raised in this sort of Asian Indian culture. Her father's Jamaican, so he's, I think, part black, part white, but he's an intellectual, but he's not American black in the sense that, like, he hasn't experienced that particular culture, right? He didn't grow up in that particular culture. And Kamala Harris absolutely did not grow up in the standard sort of American black culture that we think of when we think of like a person who is quote unquote black in America. So this pretense that and that's why we say, like, she's down with the homies. She's always pretending she's down with the homies. it's all such a obvious facade, such an obvious and the crazy thing is, I think most Black people see this, and some Black people just want to claim her for some reason. I don't really understand this, especially Black women.
I was going to say Black men, females.
Black females. So let's have a quick look. This is
Chris. I wish our people in the chat would super chat, because they say such great things.
Yeah, guys. I'm not gonna respond to you unless you super chat, because I'm
because they say some great things. There's one that he's saying like
go ahead.
the biggest part of the Black culture is to have experienced many of the challenges of it. She didn't have any difficulty in upbringing. Exactly. No. Like she didn't struggle. So
there was no prejudice against the relatively attractive Indian girl. Like and she grew up, for the most part. I mean, she grew up in like California, but at the time she grew up in California, I don't think that there was like that significant. She didn't grow up in like the civil rights era. No. She pretends that she did, but she didn't really. And then she spent her high school years in Montreal, Canada. Like you couldn't like have a more white place. MMA Fix jumped in and he says, "Sup boys, $2 for Jason's makeover. Very GQ." Yeah, true. Yeah, you look good, man. You're looking good, brother. You're looking good. Thank you, MMA Fix. We love you, man.
Yeah, the other thing is well, I don't know if you're going to mention this, so I don't know if I should mention it, but her history is of slave owners, so I mean,
that's true. Like one of her ancestors is like a serious slave owner from Jamaica. The Herald wrote, "I would super chat, Chris, but I'm unemployed and desperately trying to find a job. Love you long time though." Love you too.
Yeah, we understand. We understand. We appreciate it.
If you don't have money, do not super chat us. I don't want you to super chat us. Don't be crazy. Don't be crazy. Just like do like an @Mr. Reagan or do an all caps thing or something to get our attention. But all right, let's throw this back up here because I wanted to. Oh, sorry, not that one. That one. I wanted to talk about this. Let's go ahead and play this video. This is pretty funny. This is Kamala once again trying to be Black. Nick Sortor wrote, "Kamala Harris decided to go to a record store with tons of cameras, of cameras, of course.
This is incredible.
To buy albums from famous Black artists in an attempt to prove that she's Black. Does this BS work on anybody at all? That's the question. That's the question.
So, okay, so do you know music? Okay, so first of all, Charlie Mingus, really one of the greatest jazz performers.
Wow.
Ever. One of my favorite albums of all time. Roy Ayers, Everybody Loves Sunshine. You know this one? So good. It's a classic. And then Porgy and Bess. Right? And this is a beautiful one. It's Ella Fitzgerald and Louis Armstrong.
She's reading it.
There you go. What'd you get?
This is what we've been talking about.
Staged, phony, artificial, inauthentic garbage I've ever seen in my life.
This is what we've been talking about for days already. Like the fakeness, it's completely fake. Come on, she's in a record store and she's buying Black artist records. I mean, come on, who can't see this, man? Who can't see this? This is such pandering. It's not even funny.
And the acting of the so-called journalist.
Yeah.
What you get?
Yeah. and you notice how she's reading, like she's making sure she's reading the album. Like if you really love these people, you'll know just you'll know automatically. Like what you don't have to read. If I saw one of my favorite artists' albums, just the color, the picture I would automatically know who it is.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for her to pull hot sauce out of her purse. I go everywhere with my hot sauce.
Yeah. So, somebody wrote that's hilarious. That's funny. Because it's funny because it may happen.
But imagine that I didn't. Like imagine I was running for office and I wanted to get the Black vote. I'm like, listen, y'all. Like everybody would be like, what is he doing? But Kamala somehow she gets a pass,
So somebody wrote
when she says y'all and stuff, it drives me crazy because I'm like, you're not from the South, even remotely.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody wrote that she probably doesn't even have a record player. Yep.
Oh, 100%. She just definitely does not have a record player. Probably her weirdo daughter does. She probably likes
Yeah,
that
true.
stuff. I should have a record player. I actually like. We used to have a record player in my home. You know, I grew up in the 80s. I mean, she probably did too when she was a kid. But yeah, I'm a little nostalgic for that kind of thing. But then here's another little funny thing. So
you know what I want, Chris? You know what I want?
yeah,
One of those old, like, what do you call them? With the horn sticking out. I've always wanted to get one of those. Like
what is
have
that
it have it
called?
as a display piece? Maybe play something on it once in a while. But I always thought that was cool. Like
Gramophone.
Anyway,
I think it's called a gramophone.
Yeah. Anyway, that was off the subject, but
no, that'd be cool though. No, I wanted to get one. In fact, I walked past like there's this market in France on that hill with the church
Sacré-Cœur.
Sacré-Cœur, yeah, Sacré-Cœur. I think it's Marmont or something like that. Anyway, they have this little like area where you can buy just whatever, and I did see like a record, like a gramophone.
Or you're talking about Mount Michel?
I don't know.
It's in an island. Is it an island?
No, it was definitely where Sacré-Cœur is. I was just walking
Paris?
up to Sacré-Cœur randomly, and I saw this and I was like, oh, that's cool. That is cool.
Gramophone.
Let me see. Siana, I think her name is, has given us $10. Thank you, Siana. Let's have a look at this. She says, so she cleaned collard greens in a bathtub, listened to Tupac before his music was out, and has Megan Thee Stallion to bring black people to her rally, hoping people will see through the bull. Yeah, this is exactly it. This is exactly it. She, you know what it is, Jason? You know what it is? And by the way, I'm going to post that video of her, the record store thing, because that's so cringe. I'm going to do a video about it actually, because that is an unbelievably cringe video, and I think it needs to get out there because I think that the term is trying too hard. Trying too hard. She's trying so hard to seem black that I think it's going to backfire.
Yeah,
right. There's this line in Shakespeare.
I think it's backfiring.
I think it's from Hamlet where he says, "The lady doth protest too much, methinks." Right. There's this idea that by saying no, that's not true at all. Right. You're sort of exposing the fact that you've been triggered to go to like be upset about this because it's true and you see the truth in it. So
yeah. Well,
sometimes when people protest too much, then go.
Yeah. Somebody's writing, if twerking doesn't make you vote Kamala, you ain't whack. You ain't whack. I'm waiting actually for Kamala to start twerking. Let's see. That might be the desperation time. Like right before the election, she starts twerking.
Oh, please, please let Kamala twerk. Please let that has to happen.
That would be great.
That's hilarious. I love that.
You missed a super chat, by the way.
No, I didn't. From who?
Hof Power.
From whom? Hof Power Concrete. Oh yeah, I did. You're right. Hof Power Concrete and Simplified Crawfish Company. He writes, "Nope, grow the beard back."
Yeah, it was really let me tell you, it was really bothering me.
Why do you gotta be like that? Why? What was the problem?
It's just a pain in the butt. You think you just grow the beard and that's it, but no, actually you have to really maintain it and take care of it. You just can't let your beard go crazy.
It's a pain.
And it was a daily thing.
Yeah,
it was a daily thing, and I was like, I'm sick of it. And it was hot. It's hot here with a beard. It's so hot. So,
all right. So let's have a look at this. This is this goes to what we're talking about. Are people falling for this? So they actually interviewed some black guys in a barbershop, and one of them asked the question, "Is Kamala Black?" And this was just absolutely epic. This is amazing. Hold on.
Harrisburg, Pennsylvania CBS network anchor went to a central Pennsylvania barbershop seeking some candid conversation. Among the revelations, that some of the black men that he interviewed did not regard Harris as black.
Is Kamala going to make you a little more likely or less likely to vote Democrat?
Well, hold on, wait, first, Ray, hold on, Ray. Is Kamala Black, yes or no?
I'm going to let her speak on that. But to me, no.
Oh, is Kamala Black, yes or no?
I share that same view.
Wow, is Kamala Black, yes or no?
I heard she was. I heard she's half black and half Asian.
That's not all. I think that was all the video. I think there's a little more. I think they asked him.
You want me to watch?
Yeah.
Okay, we can watch the rest of it. Yeah. Oh, hold on a second. There we go. All right, we can play the rest of it. I only watched up to that part.
When I played that audio on my Sirius XM radio program on Thursday, many callers who self-identified as African-American were quick to tell me that those men were the exception, not the rule. Some described them as low-information voters, no different than you'd find among whites. Trump is
Oh no, I guess it wasn't the. There's a longer video where they say more stuff. But
That's
basically
pretty funny,
basically it's black men are not falling for it. I'm good.
Yeah, I love that. I love that they're just like, nope, she's not black. One guy's like, I don't know. I heard she's like half black.
Yeah,
I love that. I love that. Well, I mean, if you show any black person that record store thing, they're gonna laugh their butts off.
They
about
are.
that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're just gonna be like, what is she doing? She's like, what was that chick, Rachel Dolezal? She's like the next Rachel Dolezal. I think we should start calling her.
She's probably more. I was gonna say she's probably more black than Kamala.
Dolezal. Yeah,
Yeah.
We should start calling her Kamala Dolezal. I think that's how we should start calling her. It's pretty funny, man. All right, so let me go into. Oh yeah, okay. This is easy. I can go to the. All right, let me stop screen, present, share screen. Let's go to the next story. We got a bunch of stuff, you guys. This is really weird. Talk about weird. You know, they keep talking about the Trump campaign.
Yeah.
Is weird.
Yeah.
Oh my God. They're using this picture of her husband, Doug M Hof, this ugly, old, degenerate piece of crap. But like he was kind of a good looking kid, right? I guess in the 80s. So now they're like, they put him on mugs and stuff. They're trying to sell this guy. But
What
like,
happened?
look at that face. Yeah,
what happened
man.
is what I want to say.
Lay off the
Man.
cheeseburgers, Doug. Jeez, you could be a decent looking guy, you know. Oh my gosh! But you know, maybe he was never a decent looking guy. Maybe he just got one good picture.
That's what I'm saying.
You know,
When I read
happens.
that, I was like, that was a good picture, and that's probably the picture he shows everybody.
I know. Like, look how good looking I was when I was young. He's got this one picture. Yeah. Anyway, among the items featuring M Hof's face are a 2-pack throwback Doug sticker for $6 and a throwback Doug tank for $32. Could you imagine seeing somebody having bought that?
Yeah.
Oh,
They have no clue. These, like, what are they doing? Like,
all right.
because you know, I'm sure their base loves it. I'm sure that their base loves it. But I mean, who are you gonna win on your side with that? Like,
well, that's just a fundraising thing, though. It's really just meant for the base.
yeah, okay, yeah, true. Yeah, I didn't think about that. You're right. I always think in terms of strategy and always trying to get the other side. And, yeah.
This is a pretty funny one. I was gonna, because I'm going to put this in a compilation video, so I didn't want to play it on the show. But this is so funny, we got to play it. I think.
And as a woman, there's a balance to be struck between being tough and being a bitch.
That laugh.
Turn that off.
Okay, so Jason, I want to defend her here. I know that sounds crazy, but I want to defend her here because, you know, I've often said that there is a fine balance to be struck between being a strong man and being an asshole. Yeah, it's not funny.
Yeah. No. You know what? There's a parody video in that.
I know. I should just clip that, and that should be. Hold on. Let me turn the brightness down.
That laugh, man. That laugh.
Well,
that laugh. I'm surprised. I'm surprised nobody has told her on their campaign, like, you know, keep that laugh down. Like, come on, stop with the laugh.
Well, but the weird thing is, I don't like. Why did you think that's so funny?
Well, you know, somebody that laughs at their stupid jokes, they always like over exaggerate.
I think it's the fact that she said the word bitch, and it's like inappropriate. So she thought it was just absolutely hysterical. JD Vance is weird though, Jason. JD Vance, He's the weird one.
Exactly.
We just got to keep reminding everybody of that.
Yeah.
JD Vance, the most normal guy you've ever seen in your life.
Yeah.
He's the weird one.
Yeah. And I'm not like the biggest fan of JD Vance, but yeah, you're right. That's like the most normal guy. Oh wait, Sienna, I hope I'm saying her name right. She did a super chat. She wrote, I'm surprised we haven't heard how many times she's watched New Jack City or Shaft. Pretty good. I like Sienna. She's pretty good.
I like Sienna as well. I want a reporter to ask that. I want a right-wing reporter.
Yeah. What's your favorite movies?
No, I want her to ask exactly that question. What's Sienna?
Yeah. That's good.
It's too funny, man. I love that. I absolutely love it. All right. Let's go on. Let's move on from Kamala. Let's move on to this is cracking me up, man. This is cracking me up. This is gonna annoy you probably that we're posting this, but I love this. This made me laugh so hard. Okay, I feel bad for this guy, but
I know what you're gonna post. Yep.
I feel bad for this guy, but I also I kind of like, you know what? This guy just sort of like won the internet.
Yeah.
Hold on, let's go look at this. So this guy is a pole vaulter. Unfortunately, he failed.
Did he fail?
Yeah, did he fail or did he make the ultimate success?
Yeah.
Everyone in the world just
he might not win the gold, but he's gonna win a lot more after that.
He is from France, and he says, it is not my fault. I could not make it over cleanly because I am enormous.
Okay. I think we can stop the video.
Yeah, okay. Stop the video. Yeah, it's a little too much. Okay, so that happened at the Olympics. That cracked me up. Okay, everybody's seen that, but oh my gosh. That's just I mean, how often does that happen ever? Like that just it's just too funny. And they got it in slow motion. I don't know. You feel bad for the guy, but you don't really feel bad for the guy. So, it is what it is. All right. So, okay. I wanted to get that laugh out of the way. And the reason I want to get that laugh out of the way is because we got some kind of...
I was going to say, win or lose, he's a winner. Doesn't matter.
He is a winner. He is a winner because of his wiener. He is a winner. All right. So I want to get that out of the way because we have some a little bit darker news to go over. This is what's going on in the UK. I'm sure you guys have heard. England on the brink. Starmer vows swift action against anti-immigrant extremists. Government advisor backs COVID-style lockdowns to stop riots. Now, of course, they have some kind of like Muslim Defense League, like the Muslim version of Antifa going around, breaking stuff and burning stuff. But
with swords and knives,
all kinds of crazy crap. But the government is only going after the so-called right-wing extremists, right? British Prime Minister.
I'm going on X. I'm going on my rounds with that, like just going off on that. It's crazy.
He vowed the police have his full support in taking on extremists, which is essentially white people, as anti-mass migration protests and riots have broken out across the United Kingdom following the mass stabbing at a children's dance party in Southport earlier this week. See, this is the problem. If you have a terrorist attack, and like these protesters, as far as I'm aware, they're not going around killing people, but it's a little bit rowdy, it's a little bit out of hand. So they're characterizing it as like super violent and horrible. Like this happened in Ireland last year, I think. And I like, for the most part, I hate seeing Antifa. I hate seeing Black Lives Matter do these protests. Like you'll say, oh, but what about George Floyd? George Floyd was killed. Yeah, well, George Floyd overdosed. They didn't wait for all the information. They just saw this video. They assumed this white cop was a racist, who's still in prison, by the way, which is like the greatest injustice of all time. The only injustice that's worse is like Trump going to court and all of the January 6ers that are in prison. But anyway, one of the worst injustices ever is this Derek Chauvin guy. But anyway, like they go like with impunity. They go and they burn everything and they knock down statues and they do all this stuff and the American media is like, oh, but George Floyd was killed and therefore they have every right to do this, you know. Even Kamala Harris was like, they're not going to stop and they shouldn't stop. Oh, screw you, Kamala. But now we got the same kind of thing going on in Britain. But the thing is, everybody's like, oh, this is the worst thing to ever happen. But like children were murdered. Like little children were murdered.
Yeah.
This is not like a drug addicted criminal who died of a drug overdose that everybody thought was murder. Yeah. This was actual murder of innocent children. Okay. The UK has a serious problem. And instead of dealing with it, they're demonizing the people that are expressing their discontent with the situation, right? You can only torture people so much before they rise up against you.
Yeah.
The UK has done this to themselves.
You know what the problem is?
Yeah, what's that?
They took away their weapons. They took away their guns.
They took away their guns.
They're defenseless now. What are they going to do? We warned them. We warned them. I posted something on our chat, so you can kind of post it, kind of connected to this.
You mean on our okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Hold on one second. Let me go ahead.
But yeah, it's crazy. But like I'm finally glad that some people in Europe, I guess in England, are finally waking up to this problem because if they don't stop this, that's it. But you know what's sickening is the government, not only that the police, the people actually stopping them, actually defending an invasion, you know, against their own people, you know, like I wish all the cops, all the people just like drop everything and be like, no, you're on your own. You know,
yeah, I wish that would happen.
This. Yeah.
I wish that would happen. All right, let's take a look at this. You had us post this, so let's go ahead and watch it.
Okay. So
what do you mean I can't have any alcohol?
Okay, well I'll tell you. Okay, the time's 20 to 3, 14:40. I'm arresting you on suspicion of improper use of the electronic communications network. I'm just
what?
127 of the Communications Act. Okay, so you do not have to say that it may harm your defence if you don't mention one question, something which you later are in court. Anything you do say may be given evidence. Do you understand that?
So I'm actually being arrested.
You're going to be arrested, okay?
Right.
So you got to the police station.
Right.
You, okay, this is in relation to some comments that you've made on a Facebook page. Okay?
Oh, really? Oh, it's a Facebook crime, is it?
Okay.
Right.
So we need to ask you some questions about that.
Right.
Have you got anything in your pockets,
I've got my keys. That's about it, I think. Keys.
So, anyone who's been arrested, we can search them under Section 32 and basically level attacked.
Right.
That's for dangerous items.
You said I was going to be arrested under some what information? But I'm going to be arrested for posting on Facebook.
Some comments that are offensive, obscene.
Man, getting arrested for talking, freely talking.
We're making a Facebook post.
Yeah. This is whack. This is crazy.
Up for the night.
And listen to this woman. I'm gonna arrest you. How is she even a police officer? She's one hit and that girl's knocked out.
No, but this is your perfect example of following orders. We were just following orders. Like, how can he do this? Like, this is not right. It's not right. Like, come on. I don't care how bad whatever the guy said, which I doubt it was anything bad. But let's say if it was like the most horrible thing, like, how can you actually arrest somebody for just talking if it wasn't a threat of physical violence on somebody? Like,
okay,
but even then there's an exception.
Takes this police officer seriously. She's literally, in order to tell the time, she's just pulled out her, I think this is like a Powerpuffs Girl phone case. Like, girl, if you're going to use that in the line of duty, maybe get a different phone case than Powerpuff Girls or whatever that is.
Yeah.
Sorry if I don't know my little girl anime.
I sent you something. That's what I posted to that. today on X. I just sent it to you.
Your posts. Okay, hold
on. Yeah.
Okay.
I sent that. It was getting a big a lot of people were liking it, and because it's actually true.
A little bit difficult for me to switch from screen to screen. So you're making me work here, man. All right, let's let's have a look at this. Okay. Turn in your weapons. The government will take care of you. Yeah, that's beautiful, man. That's beautiful. True that. All right. Yeah, it's disgusting what's going on over there in the UK. But let's go ahead. There's another
in the West in general. It's just really bad over there in France and England, Ireland.
Yeah,
you know,
they're
but
sort of
here it's gonna get bad here too eventually.
So here is Keir Starmer, the fascist dictator of the UK, and let's hear what this a-hole has to say.
Be in no doubt, those that have participated in this violence will face the full force of the law. The police will be making arrests. Individuals will be held on remand. Charges will follow, and convictions will follow. I guarantee you will regret taking part in this disorder, whether directly or those whipping up this action online and then running away themselves. This is not protest. It is organized, violent thuggery, and it has no place on our streets or online.
He's talking about he's talking about the Muslim immigrants and illegals there, right? That's what he's talking about, right? No, of course
Shockingly,
not.
no. Shockingly, no. He's talking about the people who are upset that children died. But you're not allowed to be upset that children have died because you're white, and white people aren't allowed to be upset when children die.
You notice how they passed a bill to ban all guns and stuff like that, and then soon after they just brought the third world into their countries. You know, like,
and now
that's not a coincidence.
Yeah, I guess
they know eventually the population, the natural population would uprise eventually.
Yeah.
Indigenous. I'm sorry, indigenous. They would eventually uprise because eventually they're not going to
rise
sit
up
down and take it. Rise up. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let me just shift gears here because that's too depressing. So I want to talk about something funny. So we're going to talk a little bit about RFK dumping a dead bear in New York.
I thought this was so interesting.
Park. It's bizarre, isn't it? Isn't this a weird
But
thing?
I don't find it like that crazy. They're making it crazy because the Democrats want to get him on a hit piece. It's actually kind of funny.
Story. Yeah, of course, it's a great story. It's a funny story, which is why
I actually liked him a little more after this. You know,
of course,
weird.
Of course you would. Of course you would. It's a weird story, but it's funny.
I was taking a group of people falconing up in Goshen, New York, up in the Hudson Valley, and I was supposed to meet them there at like maybe 8 or 9. I was driving up maybe really early, like 7, and that woman in a van in front of me hit a bear and killed it, a young bear. So I pulled over and I picked up the bear and put him in the back of my van because I was going to skin the bear, and it was very good condition, and I was going to put the meat in my refrigerator. And you can do that in New York State. You can get a bear tag for a roadkill bear. And so then we went hawking, and I had the bear in my car. And then we had a really good day, and we went late. We were catching a lot of game, and the people really loved it. So we stayed late. And instead of going back to my home in Westchester, I had to go right to the city because there was a dinner at Peter Luger's Steakhouse. And at the end of the dinner, it went late, and I realized I couldn't go home. I had to go to the airport. And the bear was in my car, and I didn't want to leave the bear in the car because that would have been bad. So then I thought, at that time, this was a little bit of the redneck in me. There'd been a series of bicycle accidents in New York. They had just put in the bike lanes, and saw a couple of people had gotten killed, and it was every day, and people had gotten badly injured. Every day it was in the press. And so I thought, I wasn't drinking, of course, but people were drinking with me who thought this was a good idea. And I said, I had an old bike in my car that somebody had asked me to get rid of. I said, let's go put the bear in Central Park and we'll make it look like he got hit by a bike. It'll be funny for people.
That's awesome.
So everybody thought that's a great idea. So we went and did that, and we thought it would be amusing for whoever found it or something. The next day, it was like, it was on every television station. It was the front page of every paper. And I turned on the TV and there was like a mile of yellow tape and there were 20 cop cars. There were helicopters flying over it. And I was like, oh my God, what did I do? And then there was some people on TV in Tyvek suits with gloves on lifting up the bike. And they're saying they're going to take this up to Albany to get a fingerprinted. And I was worried because my prints were all over that bike. Luckily, the story died down after a while, and it stayed dead for a decade. And the New Yorker somehow found out about it, and they're going to do a big article on me, and that's one of the articles. So they asked me, the fact checker said, you know, it's going to be a bad story.
I think it's a great story. I love that.
I don't know how they could. That's not working against him. The fact that he wanted to skin it and save the meat is man. It's a man of my own heart.
You know? Exactly. It's
imagine
funny.
having a
And
bear.
also,
Imagine having a bear skin, fur and stuff hanging in your room or in your.
And Roseanne's a good person to tell this to because Roseanne's a comedian. You know, she likes a good funny story. You know, she's got a good reaction, and she's looking great. Isn't Roseanne looking great? They have this meme.
I think she's free.
Out. Yeah, right. They had this meme out where they had a picture of Roseanne today and a picture of Madonna today, and they somebody wrote like in like 1987 or whatever. Who would have guessed that you know in 2024 Roseanne Barr would be more beautiful than Madonna, right?
That
because
is
Madonna's
so
all
good.
effed up, you know. It's so
That
funny.
is so
and then and then whoever tweeted this underneath it, Roseanne actually responded and she goes, "I did."
Wow, that is
I
so
think she
good.
actually swore or something. Yeah,
That
it's
is
great,
so
right?
true.
Isn't that
It's
weird?
true. It's like
She is. She looks so much better than Madonna. It's sad in a way, you know, in the sense, you know, for Madonna, it's sad, but it's great for Roseanne. She looks great, you know.
You know, and in that article too, you go further down. It talks about like him eating dog in like Vietnam or something. Like he took a picture.
Yeah, I think that's
of like him. Yeah, and I'm like, even that is not like crazy. Like you're going to a different culture where they do that, you know. And I mean, if you really truly want to experience a culture, you would kind of be tempted to do something like that. I don't know if I do it, but like taking a picture with the dog meat and stuff like that, like come on, like it just makes the guy seem more adventurous, cool, you know.
He's a cool, adventurous guy. He just is. I mean, that's what happens when you grow up rich. You got to go on these adventures, you know, because I think your life is kind of too easy. But you know, I'm in Southeast Asia right now, and I will say, for the record, I have not eaten dog, as far as I know.
Okay, that's what I was gonna say. As far as you know,
I don't know that I'm pretty sure I haven't eaten dog. Big Lou 85 jumped in. He says, I miss a week and Jason's face gets destroyed.
Yep. Yeah.
Come on, look at that handsome face. What are you talking about, Lou? Come on, brother.
But I gotta admit, I do look beta, I guess.
A little bit more beta. You look more like me. First of all, you say you look more like me, and then you say you look more beta. I'm not particularly enjoying that. Beta. All right. Let's have a look here at the next story because that's a fun one. That was a fun one. I felt like this one's a little bit more legit, a little bit more of a serious news story. It's about Vince Vaughn. Vince Vaughn has always been a pretty strong libertarian. He's a Trump supporter. He's been a Trump supporter for a long time. But he says in the New York Times, he says, people should have guns, but he also says drugs should be legal. And I definitely disagree with that. So me and Vince Vaughn, we're going to have to.
That's a very libertarian thing.
Very libertarian. Vince Vaughn spoke with the New York Times about his background, noting that his grandfather on his mother's side was an Italian immigrant whose formal education was extremely limited. He was a pawn shop broker and a jeweler, Vaughn said. The actor described his grandfather on his father's side as a sharecropper and a steel worker who had a 100-acre farm. Vaughn noted that his father was the first one in his family to go to college. What are you talking about that crap for? Who cares? He said, then I kind of ascended from growing up in apartments, blah, 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 blah. Why are you even? Come on, let's talk about the actual crap. Vaughn responded by confirming that he is a libertarian, and he said, yes, I definitely am a believer more in allowing individuals to make choices. So I think that drugs should be legal and people should have guns. You know what I think should be legal? Prescription medication. Oh, not legal, but like what I think should be deregulated is prescription medication. Like, okay, people are like, oh, hardcore, like illegal drugs should be legal. Well, I don't really see the great benefit of that. I mean, I understand like you want people to be able to F up their lives easier. I mean, come on. But the thing that I think is weird, there's a lot of medications with very minimal side effects, like extremely minimal side effects. And in some places in the world, I won't say where, but in some places in the world, you can just go to a pharmacy and just buy these drugs. And you don't have to go get a doctor's prescription to get it. You can go online, figure out what you need, and then just go to the pharmacy and get the drugs you need. In America, you have to go to the doctor first, which to me is kind of a scam because it's like, if you don't have insurance, then how are you going to go get the prescription? You got to pay, $200 or whatever it is to go see the friggin' doctor. That kind of sucks. And then like, what if the pills themselves aren't really that expensive? So in order to get like a $10 bottle of medication for whatever your ailment is, you got to spend $200 to go see a doctor so they can write you a prescription.
Then the government has you. Then you got to rely on government help, Obamacare, and then you're stuck with what the Obama decides on your health.
Well, that's it.
You're stuck with what Obama decides on your health, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, we understand what you're saying. Yeah, like it's all just part of this system of controlling people and regulating everything and making sure that people are sort of beholden to the system. You want to vote for Obama because if you don't vote for Obama, you think or Obama's surrogates, whatever it is, if you're not voting for Obama or his minions, then maybe next election you won't even have the Obamacare that allows you to get that medication because you can't afford your doctor visits or whatever. So that's basically what we're saying here. But I think we need to deregulate prescription medication. But yeah, I've known for a long time Vince Vaughn is sort of on our side, I guess. And I've talked about it a little bit on the show. I try not to out the Hollywood people, but Vince Vaughn's kind of like quasi out of the closet as a conservative. He's a libertarian. Yeah.
I felt like that for many years. Like it should be a choice, a person's choice to decide what they want. Because if you think about it, this whole illegal drug thing is a recent thing. Because back in the day, there was drugs weren't illegal. People were doing all kinds of things like opium and all that stuff.
Just go to LA. Just go to LA.
But I used to kind of agree with that. Like it should be up our choice. But then when you actually look at the statistics of like what happens when you do stuff like, especially now in today's society with the population so high here, I mean, it'll be a disaster. Like there'll be too many negatives to justify that. So I kind of changed my position on that.
Here's the problem. America is not filled with hardworking, responsible people. We don't have a culture of hard work and responsibility anymore. We used to. I think you used to. Like back in the 40s, 50s, I think you could have had drugs be legal, and there would have been such a societal rejection of that lifestyle that unless you were a complete degenerate, you weren't going to turn to drugs or become an alcoholic or whatever. I mean, people were alcoholics and stuff, but they desperately tried to hide it. Because it was socially unacceptable. You needed to live a clean Christian life. Like that was the life everywhere in America, basically. So if you were not living that life, you were basically rejected by society. But today, it's not like that anymore. We don't have that societal rejection of these kinds of lifestyles, this kind of abuse of drugs and alcohol. And you have certain, because America's so big, you have certain subsets of the population that actually sort of even sort of romanticize the idea of being a complete degenerate. They're just like, oh yeah, do drugs, do alcohol, be cool, like, you know, it's cool. And you can live like that your whole life. But what ends up happening is, a lot of these people end up on the street. They end up like, you know, totally like messed up. And it ends up like Los Angeles, the zombie apocalypse. If you go walk through Los Angeles, it looks like the zombie apocalypse. It looks like a zombie movie.
Yep.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah. And and Anthony Mark wrote, back in the late 1990s, I wanted all the drugs legalized, but now I oppose it. It would be chaos. Yeah, same here. It was like the late 90s for me. Like I was like, I should just make it all legal. But when you actually mature and you think about it, it's not smart.
All right, guys, we need more super chats. You know why? It's not because we need the money, although we do need the money. It's because we want to engage more with you guys. Although Anthony Mark gets a pass because he's always on here.
Yep,
we love.
He's a great supporter, so
he's great. Yeah. All right, Pelosi says Joe Biden should be added to Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, I was when I saw that, I was like, what the.
What the hell? This is one of the weirdest. But again, JD Vance is the weird one, right, guys? Let's watch this.
The best way forward is to pass the torch to a new generation. That's the best way to unite our nation.
There have been reports that it was Nancy Pelosi who orchestrated a coordinated effort to squeeze President Biden to drop out. Please tell us what you told President Biden to persuade him to step aside.
Well, I've never shared any conversations with the President of the United States publicly, no.
It's said that he's furious at you. Is he?
Well, he knows that I love him very much.
I understand that you don't want to own this, but it is so well reported that you were the leader of a pressure campaign.
No, I wasn't a leader of any pressure party. Well, let me say things that I didn't do. I didn't call one person. I did not call one person. I could always say to him, I never called anybody. What I'm saying is I had confidence that the president would make the proper choice for our country, whatever that would be. And I said that, whatever that is, we'll go with.
Had you seen a decline in Joe Biden, and did you think he needed to step aside?
No. My whole point was whatever he decides, but we have to have a more aggressive campaign.
She mentioned his many accomplishments, including his forceful leadership of the NATO summit with other Western heads of state.
It's a long
so
video.
He wasn't a good place
to
make a decision.
Well,
the top
longer
of
than
his
I had.
game. Such a consequential president of the United States, a Mount Rushmore kind of president of the United States.
Are
Want
you
to know
really
what comes
saying
next?
That he belongs up there on Mount Rushmore, Lincoln and Joe Biden.
But you got Teddy Roosevelt up there, and he's wonderful. I don't say take him down, but you can add Biden. So we had big needs for.
What the hell? Even Leslie Stahl is like, what? Like, you gotta be kidding me. What a dumb thing to say. You know, this is how you know, like, the funny thing about the Democrats is that people watch them talking, you know, saying crap like that. And, like, they don't go, oh, you know what? We should probably stop voting for these people because they're obviously total liars. Like, how do you not watch that and not go, you know what? I'm not going to vote for those people because they're total liars. Just crazy to me. All right. We got a couple of super chats, so let me jump in here. MMA Fix says, this is not a super chat. It's a super duper chat. Well, thank you very much, MMA Fix, for your super duper chat. Joe Walco has jumped in here, and he said, great opinion about prescription medication, father of 2 young children with very good insurance. The hoops we still need to jump through for obvious things like a separate visit for every pink eye infection is ridiculous. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Something that's totally insignificant, but you need to go to the dang doctor to get a prescription. I just don't understand this. We need to fix that. I'll talk to Trump about it. We'll get that work done. Rick Humphrey, $5. Thank you very much, Rick. He says, I don't understand this at all. Maybe Jason can figure this out. He says, happy Don't Let Your Meat Loaf Monday. Well, you got me to laugh. I don't really understand it, but you got me to laugh. Thank you, Rick. That's pretty funny. All right, let's
explain in the chat.
Yeah, maybe
if there needs to be if there's an explanation.
All right, this one is not one I actually wanted to show just because it's depressing and I felt like it would drag down the show. But Jason, you can talk about it since you picked this story. Report says 97% of all FACE Act prosecutions target pro-life activists. I believe I said, Jason, you can talk about the story.
Can you say the top? Can you read it again?
Report says 97% of all FACE Act prosecutions target pro-life activists.
Yeah, so basically it's those, you know what the FACE Act is, right?
Well, why don't you explain it to us, Jason? Because not everybody in the chat or watching the show will know what the FACE Act is. That's our job.
It's there. Can you read it there?
I will read it there.
It'll be better to read it instead of me explaining it.
The FACE Act, which former President Bill Clinton signed into law in 1994, prohibits violence, threatening, damaging, or obstructive conduct intended to injure, intimidate, or interfere with the right to seek, obtain, or provide reproductive health services. Between 1994 and 2024, there have been approximately 211 FACE Act cases. 205 of those cases have been brought against pro-life activists. I mean, so it's essentially a law to make protesting against abortion illegal. That's essentially what the law is.
Yeah. Well, but it wasn't only just for abortion. It was for other stuff as well.
Really?
You know, because like churches against churches. But you know, what I wanted to elaborate on that was, of course, when a Democrat does a law or something like that, it's to work against the other side. So of course they passed that law to affect people protesting abortions, you know, and most abortions as of late, like I don't know, past decade haven't been like violent.
No, oh, you mean protesters?
Yeah. So it's just being in the front of a place that aborts, kills, murders babies, and you know, so it's really not. But you know, they'll use the law against it. So
yeah, and a lot of these protesters are like some of the best people you'll ever meet. You know, good people.
Yeah, it's an attack on the First Amendment. Exactly.
Yeah. Let's see here.
That's what they do. That's what the Democrats do. They erode the Constitution, the First Amendment, the Second Amendment. They'll put a law here, a law there, a law there, and slowly your rights will be taken away from you. And you don't even realize.
Yeah, we need to repeal that law. 60 Minutes is leftist propaganda. I believe 59 Minutes Presents is probably totally fair and balanced. They've given us $2. They've said, we all know it. These people are evil. So very true. Christy's Corner jumps in. She says, promise? ? What did I promise, Jason? I don't remember.
I don't remember.
I remember either.
People, you gotta really explain, because I have a short-term memory, about a second. I'm like a fish. So
I don't always get to these super chats. I don't always get to these super chats in a timely fashion. All right, let's hear. Florida Sheepdog 1 says societal mores will not be strong enough to temper people's behaviors without total freedom of speech. Condemnation of bad behavior will be hate speech. Oh, that's such a good point. If you just say somebody's done something evil, right? Like if you say sexually aberrant behavior of like the LGBTQ community is, gross, for instance, they'll be like, that's hate speech. G.I. Jose jumps in with $2. He says, Jason, looking sharp. Are you joining the military?
Thank you. I would not join the military now just because Biden is president, and I wouldn't want my child to join the military too. If the country continues to go the way it goes, because I don't want to send my kid to die for these leftist crazy weirdos.
But I will say,
hopefully things get back to the way they were.
Jason's looking objectively good, I would say, despite the mixed reviews from the chat. You guys are harsh critics.
I think it's a mix. I think it's a mix. So
that's why I just said mixed reviews.
But that's what I'm saying. I think like actually I think people hate my look. So
no, I think you're good. All right, so now we have some other tragic news, which I'm sure you all know. So let's have a look. Japan's Nikkei 225 stock index plunges 12.4% as investors dump a wide range of shares. So that was sort of the beginning of this market downturn, I believe. This was pretty rough over the past few days, but let's go ahead and go into the next one. The U.S. stocks plunge as recession fear takes hold. So yeah, I mean, people are talking about a full-on recession that we're going to fall into here. I mean, it's not 100%, but it is disconcerting. One thing that Donald Trump had kind of predicted this, and he said, like, I hope that the economy crashes before I get into office because it's going to crash soon. And I just hope that it happens before I get in because I don't want to get blamed for it. Right? And he made a really good point. But you know what I was been thinking lately, and I was talking to some people about this, some very smart people. And I said, I have a theory that there are some people at the very top, like people with a lot of power over the economy right now. And they could, if they want, flip a switch and the economy crashes.
Yep.
And these people who I think are very knowledgeable about this stuff were like, you are 100% right. And so my theory was that they would kind of hold off any kind of economic crash until after Trump is in office, and then they'd crash the economy. But the thing is, there's always going to be the unknown factors that are at play, and you can't control everything. So there could be something that triggers the economic crash before you can do it, and that may be what we're seeing here. I'm hoping it's not a complete and total disaster. I don't know. What are your thoughts on this, Jason?
I'm actually surprised that it's kind of happening before Trump is elected.
Exactly. That's my point.
I didn't think it would happen. I'm actually glad it's kind of things are happening now. Because if it happens when Trump's elected, it's gonna really hurt Trump. Here I go with the ums. I gotta stop. Chris, you gotta remind me about stopping with the ums.
I'm thinking of the next thing I'm gonna say.
So I in a way I'm glad it's happening now. But I've been reading a lot and I'm reading comments from the other side and they're already blaming Trump. So it's his fault already. And I said in a X post that they're gonna start blaming COVID and Trump, and that's what you're gonna start hearing.
I love this lighting. Yeah. I feel so presidential in this lighting.
Mr. Reagan,
a coin. Look at that. Yeah,
Mr. Chris Coles for 2028.
2028. That's right. I'm gonna run. All right.
See,
so
does your name sound presidential? You got to say your name.
Christopher Patrick Coles. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Because that's when I named my son. That was one standard. I was like, my son's name has to sound presidential. So I was like, awesome. Andrew Thomas now coming into the stage, President Andrew Thomas Labrada. That's pretty presidential, right?
I will vote for your kid. Christie's Corner 199 says, "Do you promise that you'll talk to Trump?" I see.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now
about
we
the
got
prescriptions, I will talk to Trump. I will make sure that we no longer have to have a prescription to go into the pharmacy to get drugs that are not cause serious side effects and that kind of thing. Florida Sheepdog 1 says, "You no longer join the military, you get drafted."
Yeah,
that may end up being true soon. That may end up being true soon.
Good luck, because if things keep going the way they're going now, it ain't gonna be pretty if they start drafting.
Yeah, I agree. Timothy Ingalls gives us $5 and he says, "Seeking advice on how to quell my anxiety over the possibility the chameleon gets elected." I understand thinking that Kamala Harris will get elected because there's a lot of hype around her right now. But I think the hype is unfounded. I think the hype is basically just like a relief that Joe Biden's out of it. But I don't think anybody really loves Kamala Harris. Like, who loves Kamala Harris? Like, they love that Joe Biden's out and somebody else is in. They love that somebody's in that could maybe beat Trump, like the hardcore people. But the truth is, Kamala Harris has had a terrible record. The truth is, Kamala Harris is still delivering the word salads. Kamala Harris is still a complete diversity hire and not at all qualified for the position. So I do think that it's a it would be a very difficult. I think the polls right now are reflecting something. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with the polls, but I don't think Kamala Harris has a chance. Maybe, or maybe there is actual enthusiasm out there.
I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Those polls are lies.
But if there is real enthusiasm, it's temporary. That's what I think. So just it's sort of like investing in the stock market. If there's a downturn, you don't freak out and pull all your money out. You just chill and you wait until it passes. Right? That's what I think is going on with this.
He also writes it's the polls that get to me. No drugs, guys. I don't believe those polls. Unlike Chris, I say don't believe those. I think Chris agrees with me. Don't believe those polls. Because they did that in 2016. They did it in 2020. The polls showed in 2016 that Hillary Clinton was killing Trump in the polls. So, and look what happened. So I don't believe it. The other thing is if Kamala wins, I'm optimistic in a way that if she wins, things will get really bad. People will wake up, and then there'll be real change in this country.
Yeah, but that should have happened with Biden.
Well, I said you got to give him another 4 years. I think another 4 years, they're just gonna really do what they want to do. Like it's gonna get really worse than what it is now.
I have no interest in seeing that happen. We need Trump in there.
Exactly. Agree.
Right,
That's why you got to vote. Get out there and vote early.
These are a couple of joke tweets that Jason threw in here, so we're going to go ahead and post them. This is DC Drano writes, OMG, Kamala is so brat. Brat is like this new trendy thing while they're watching the world burn and they're just happy in their little train. This guy Straight Talk Turncoat writes, I swear, if somebody doesn't tell me what brat means, look, I didn't care enough to know before, but now I'm just annoyed that I have no idea WTF what you guys are talking about.
Yeah, I was saying the same thing. I was like, "What is that brat?" I have no idea what that is. Yeah, but obviously, like you look at the meme, it's. I guess you could understand what it means.
It's like I knew I had heard it. I heard the letters spelled out. I don't know. It's something. I don't care. I don't care. Now here's Joe Biden and Kamala Harris walking away from total annihilation of the world. Is pretty funny. Let's see here. Stop screen. Present. Share screen. Okay. This is a fun one. What is worse, ding dongs or ho hos?
I thought that was great. I love that.
I thought that's a pretty funny one. Again, these are just a little bit of fun, guys. They're not too serious. But this one, quite good. Thanks to Bidenomics, they cannot afford new yard signs. It was like, oh, let's just scratch out the Biden bit. That's so funny. I love that. All right, we just got a couple more here. Let's see. Before the end of the show, we're wrapping it up, guys. Let's have a look here, though. Oh, this is great. This is my favorite. This is the last one, guys. It was worth the wait. If you're still with us, this was amazing. I absolutely love this. Let's watch this.
They don't want to talk policy. They just want to use propaganda to steal your vote. The left is trying to tout this woman as a savior for the black community, but all she's done is hurt the black community since she came into the game.
True.
See, the first step in destroying the Black community is to dismantle the Black family. So aside from her record as a prosecutor, why don't we ask Mrs. Willie Brown if Kamala Harris cares about Black families? They don't want to talk politics.
I love her so much. She's great. She's great. And Trump actually had her come up on stage and was like, talk even during his speech a little bit. Say a couple of things. Yeah, she's fantastic. She's fantastic. I love her. She's the girl that was in the Chick-fil-A in Atlanta. And Trump went in there and Chick-fil-A, I think. And,
wow.
And he was like, we love you, and gave her a hug and everything. So now she's going to the rallies with him. Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Imagine that. 1 minute you're working in Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
The next minute you're like a genius on stage. Wow.
And she's good awesome. Though. She's good.
Yeah. That's awesome. The one enlightened Black female, the very few, the few enlightened one. It's amazing. Yeah. It's amazing.
All right, one last super chat, and then we are out. Christie's Corner, she writes, unfortunately, it's not about enthusiasm. The anxiety is from fearing the steal. Work as if we are going to lose. Well, that's absolutely right.
Yep.
We can't just win. We've got to win by a landslide. We've got to beat the cheat. And with that, I would just like to say, it's not that our liberal friends are ignorant. It's just they know so much. That is not so.
One more super
that
chat.
is it. No, wait, what? Oh, no. Somebody's jumped in here. Hot Power Concrete Simplified Crawfish Company. Why got to do that to me? $2. He says, Kamala hype is the best thing for the Trump campaign. Yeah, possibly. Look, I'm pretty convinced Trump is going to win. I'm not really all that worried, and neither should you be.
You know, Chris. Actually, this is a good point because when Biden was still running, I think people were like, we're going to win this. This is going to be easy. Who's going to vote for this guy again? Now that Kamala's running, so it might work.
Because people are like, we got to go vote. We definitely have to vote. Yep. We got to walk through glass and hot coals to vote now. Yeah, no, that's a very good point. It's a very good point. This may end up being the thing that wins us, the fear that Kamala could possibly win. I think we're going to win just like so many states. It's going to be amazing.
Don't say that, Chris. Don't say that. We're not going to win. Kamala's going to win. People, get out and vote.
Get out and vote, or we're doomed. The country's doomed. All right, that's it for us.
Another super chat. Another super chat. They don't want us to leave, Chris.
He's just doing this to F with me at this point. He says, I just didn't want the show to end yet. I love you guys. I love you guys. It is not that our liberal friends are ignorant.
He's like hesitant. He's hesitant. Wait a minute. Is another one coming?
I'm watching it. Yeah. It's just they know so much that he's not so. All right. Good night. Bye. Love you guys.